Are you tired of struggling with the Molten Fortress Void Intercept boss in the First Descendant? Or do you think your teammates don't know how to do the encounter and how to do the mechanic? Or do you think your friends could benefit from learning how to do it before you guys attempt this for the first time, and you're just not exactly sure how to explain it to them? Well, then this video is for you. The Molten Fortress is a level 130 Void Intercept battle in hard mode in the First Descendant. It's the last Void Intercept battle that you can fight in the game after you've completely beaten the campaign and all the other bosses. It is a fire type boss that is weak to chill damage mostly, and also crushing damage if I'm not mistaken. The recommended fire resistance is 8,400, I believe. Personally, my character runs with 15,000 fire resistance, as well as 50,000 defense, 3,000 shields, and 6,000 HP on Kyle, and I still get pretty much obliterated by this thing. This thing is no joke. This is not some kind of boss that you can just, tiptoe your way through and hope for the best. This is one that you kind of have to put in the effort. It's probably one of the hardest bosses in the actual game. So, what's the struggle? Why is it so difficult? Why do people struggle so hard with it? Is it just the damage? No. It's actually the mechanic itself that everybody struggles with. The boss isn't super tanky, apart from, just being a boss. It doesn't deal too high of damage unless you get hit by multiple abilities and multiple attacks at the same time, or if you're not ad clearing enough and a bunch of the little roly-polies just start dealing a lot of damage to you. It's actually the mechanic that makes this boss fight so hard. So how do you beat the mechanic? Well, glad you asked. So, if your damage output is relatively average or pretty good, you'll only have to do the mechanic twice per boss fight, but sometimes you might have to do it 3 times or 4 times if your damage is a little bit on the lower end. So try to get your damage up as much as possible to keep you from having to do this mechanic over and over again. But the actual mechanic to the boss fight is very simple. Everyone gets confused with it though, and it runs into issues for everybody's team. After you get the boss's HP down a pretty good bit, it's roughly around the 3 to 4 minute mark, somewhere between there, probably about 3 minutes 30 seconds. The boss will then go underground, be immune, and come up in the center of the ring with a bunch of lava. At that point, the boss is immune, and there will be some pillars that spawn all around the boss. I'm not 100% on how many there are. I believe there are 6 or 7 that spawn around. Each of them are going to have a bunch of bars kind of on the bottom of them that are going to be like bluish color, and then above those bars is going to be a keypad looking thing that has a circular shape with an arrow somewhere on that circle pointing in certain directions. When it's highlighted white, that means you can shoot it. Every time you shoot it, that arrow is going to rotate counterclockwise on that circular shape. Your objective is to then get every single one of those pillars with their arrow on their keypad pointing to the right. So if you imagine it as a clock, you would want the arrow pointing towards 3 p.m. So directly at the 3. The issue with this is that you have to do this for every single pillar, while the boss is also shooting fireballs at all of the pillars and all of the players. If a pillar gets hit by a fireball, one of the blue bars will then turn red. Once every single one of those bars turns red, it resets the rotation of that clock or keypad. And then you have to start it all over again. So that's pretty much the gist of the entire encounter. You'll know you're doing it correct if you see a blue beam of light connecting 2 of the pillars together. Once you have every single one of the pillars connected together, the blue beam will completely encase the arena where the boss is at, and it will actually electrocute the boss, which will then make it vulnerable again, and you can start dealing damage after it comes back up from underground. That's it. That's the whole boss fight, guys. It's very, very easy. There are strategies to fight it and to beat it, but it's not as complicated as some people try to make it out to be. The most complicated part of this entire fight is just being quick and surviving. You got to be quick because it is actually possible to light up every single one of these pillars before the boss even shoots fireballs. If you're very, very quick about it, because you do have a few, like a 10-second-ish delay, I believe, from when the boss actually summons the pillars before it actually starts shooting fireballs. Another strategy that I notice is very helpful is if you stand directly behind the pillar that you are currently trying to line up the arrow on. While you're doing it, there is a delay before you can actually shoot the keypad again. Once you shoot the keypad, it will turn red, except for the arrow, and you have to wait for it to turn white again before you can shoot it again. While you're doing that, you can shoot the keypad, then look up and shoot the fireballs that are falling down at the same time, and just go back and forth, shoot the keypad, shoot the fireball, shoot the keypad, shoot the fireball, shoot the keypad, shoot the fireballs. You can sit there and do that, and you can actually clear this encounter very, very quickly. So it's all about speed when it comes to that encounter. You can recover if you guys mess it up, and if some cooldowns get reset, you can recover. It does make it a lot more difficult. But I have found one very interesting technique that I feel like works the best for most of the time for these encounters. If you have one person who has the Tamer machine gun, they can actually sit and watch the boss, and you can tell when the boss is about to use its lava attack because the cylinder on its back will extend up into the air with lava pluming out of it. When that happens, they can immediately start firing the Tamer, and they can actually destroy majority of the fireballs before they ever get fired off from its back. There will still be a few stragglers that you would have to kill or destroy because they fire out kind of in random locations and they don't all come up the same direction. So some of them will still get through, destroy those stragglers, and immediately start shooting again because it does 2 to 3 volleys of fireballs, I believe. And then it goes on a very short cooldown before it does it again. So that's my best word of advice, because it is not a very difficult mechanic. Again, it is just a annoying mechanic, and not having everyone who knows how to do it does make it a struggle, because if you're the only person that's in the lobby that actually knows how to do the mechanic, you're going to sit there and be utterly frustrated and want to leave the game just like everybody else does. Once everybody starts leaving the game, by the way, you're pretty much done, because the boss can't really be soloed. So I've had to leave the game multiple times because of that. But that is pretty much it to this encounter. Super easy, super simple. It's not a very difficult encounter. All you guys have to do is just do what I said, get the pillars, everything lined up by rotating all of the stuff to the right. It goes counterclockwise, so it does take a minute on some of the pillars, and just make sure you don't over rotate. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Be fast, destroy the fireballs, and you're good to go, guys. That's all there is to it. But I do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if this guide was helpful for you, and if you would like other guides on other parts of the game or different bosses or any other segments and stuff, please let me know, and I will do my best to do some research, learn how to do it myself if I don't already know how to do it, and create another tutorial for you guys or another guide. And yeah, so just like I said, let me know. And I haven't done any other tutorials or guides yet. The reason I chose to do this one specifically is because I was running into issues farming this boss myself the other day or yesterday, and not everybody knew how to do the mechanic, so I felt like this was the best thing that I could do to help everybody is to put out my own guide. I'm sure there's some guides out there, but I decided to put out my own as well, so maybe some other people who haven't seen the others can see this one. So yeah, but hopefully this was helpful for everybody. Hopefully it'll stop you guys from having to struggle on your runs, and you'll all be able to complete this and be able to farm the boss. I highly recommend doing this with friends rather than the public lobby, because the public lobby can put you against people who have never done this before. Whereas if you do this with friends, you kind of are all on the same footing and playfield, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's the only other advice that I can give you guys. So thank you guys again for watching. Love y'all. See you in the next one.